because of their sacrifice today, all of you are united because of the power of Sanskrit. And this is the success of Sanskrit. मुझे आज सचमुच में इतना गर्व हो रहा है। मैं आज सोच रहा था सत्यनारायण जी के भाषण सुनकर, सत्यनारायण जी से तो मैं बचपन से जानता हूँ। मैं कल भी भोजन के संदर्भ में हम बात कर रहे थे। जब मैं बहुत छोटा था, जबरदस्ती से माता जी ने मुझे अक्षरों में ले जाती थी और कई दिन मन नहीं रहता था, उसके बावजूद भी उन्होंने फोर्स करके जबरदस्ती से अक्षरों में संस्कृत भारती के कार्यक्रम में मुझे भेजती थी। I was not realizing the importance of that then, but today I have decided after I finish this program, the first call I will do is to my mother to tell her how proud I am of her and how grateful I am because she gave me the sanskar of the sanskar. बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत अच्छा है। साथियों, मैं आप सबके बीच में सिर्फ 3-4 ऐसे बिंदु रखना चाहता हूं जो हम सबके कार्य क्षेत्र के जो व्यापकता है इसका एक बार दर्शाने का प्रयास करता हूं और एक पर्पस जो होनी चाहिए हम सबके जीवन में, वो पर्पस क्या हो सकता है, इसका भी एक 30-40 सेकेंड में इस पर्पस का भी एक बार उद्देश्य का जो महोद्देश्य होता है एक जीवन का, उसका भी एक बार अवलोकन करने का साथ में मिलकर प्रयास करेंगे। We all have gathered today to celebrate the beauty of Sanskrit. Friends, all of you know Sanskrit is the grammar of Indian civilization. The DNA of Bharatiya Sanskriti is in the Sanskrit language. You cannot understand India, you cannot understand Bharat if you cannot understand Sanskrit. आप जब तक संस्कृत नहीं समझ पाएंगे तब तक का भारतीय समाज को आप नहीं समझ पाएंगे। Because the Indian civilization, its key to understanding the civilization lies in understanding the greatness of the Sanskrit language. Its decentralized architecture, its logic, its scientific rationale, these are the bedrocks on which the Indian civilization has borne. Friends, whether it is Will Durant or whether it is Mahatma Gandhi, whether it is Albert Einstein or whether it is Schopenhauer, whether it is Sri Aurobindo or whether it is Swami Vivekananda, all great thinkers, all great sages, all great visionaries who have understood and had the competency to make a judgment have made this judgment that Sanskrit is one of the greatest languages ever created by human civilization and mankind, and this is one of the greatest gifts India can give to the world. One of the most important quotes on Sanskrit is by Sri Aurobindo. And in his seminal work, The Ideal of Human Unity, Sri Aurobindo marks this about the Sanskrit language. ध्यान से सुनिए, संस्कृत का महत्व ऋषि अरविंदो ने ऐसे व्याख्यान करते हैं। The Sanskrit language is the Deva Bhasha. It is the language of the Satya Yuga, based on the true and perfect relation of Vak and Artha. Every one of its vowels and consonants has a particular and inalienable force which exists by the nature of things and not by the development of human choice. The most important line of this sentence, the most important sentence is this: every one of its vowels and consonants has a particular and inalienable force which exists by the nature of things and not by the development of human choice. संस्कृत प्रकृति का एक भाग है, प्रकृति का एक भाग है। The sounds of Sanskrita, the oral vibrations in the Sanskrit language are not of human creation. It is of cosmic consequence. This is what Sri Aurobindo tells in this book. Sometimes I fail to understand when people, vested interests, who declare that Sanskrit is a dead language, what they do not realize or fail to appreciate is this: that Sanskrit is not a creation of a mere mortal. If anything is created by a mortal being, it can have an expiry date, it can have a date of birth. But what is not created by human agency is Anadi and Ananta. It can never have a date of birth, nor it will ever have a date of expiry. And Sanskrit is one such creation that is fantastic. Friends, because this is a creation of nature, this is also the most logical and the most scientific of all languages. It's an irony that I am speaking of the greatness of Sanskrit today in the colonizer's tongue. But we all have a symbol today to ensure that in the next 25 years we will be changing it. जब अमृत काल के संदर्भ में 2047 में छात्र संसद होगा, छात्र सम्मेलन इस प्रकार का संसद भारती का होगा, तब जब मेरे जैसे जो अतिथि आएगा संस्कृत के बारे में बोलने के लिए, वो हिंदी में और भारतीय भाषा में ही बोलेगा, अंग्रेजी में नहीं बोलेगा, वो संस्कृत में बोलेगा. दैट शुड बी द काइंड ऑफ एम. अब सोचिए, आप सब इंग्लिश भी जानते हैं. इंग्लिश में आप जो लिखते हैं और आप जो बोलते हैं उसमें इतना फर्क होता है. इट इज ओनली संस्कृत एंड द इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस विच आर ऑलमोस्ट ऑल इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस विच आर इंस्पायर्ड बाय संस्कृत, वेयर यू राइट एंड यू स्पीक इन द सेम वे. इंग्लिश में CUT कट होता है, पर PUT पुट होता है. FUTURE is future. But if you have to, pronounce it the way it is written, you will say future. Nature, NATURE. In case you have to pronounce it the way it is written, you will say nature. And English is such a weird language where you write psychology, but you start psychology with a P. You ask the Englishman why, and he says P is silent. If it is silent, why do you have to write? उत्तर नहीं है. हम राजनीति में बोलते हैं ना, जो हम बोलते हैं वो हम करते हैं, वो सिर्फ संस्कृत में होता है और भारतीय भाषा में. It is logical, it is national, it is scientific. This is also a part of our संस्कार. कालिदासा ने शायद महात्मा के डेफिनेशन में वो लिखा है, मनस्येकम वचस्येकम कर्मण्येकम महात्मनः. हम सब भारतीय भाषी लोग जो हैं, हम महात्मा बनने के रास्ते में बहुत नजदीक हैं, क्योंकि हम जो लिखते हैं वही हम बोलते हैं. We are 50% already there. So in this way our language is scientific, it is logical, it is also very rational. This is the bedrock of the civilization. Satya? Sometimes I also feel, मैं हमेशा देखा हूं अनुभव में भी, जिसको संस्कृत का बैकग्राउंड होता है उनको अलग अलग भारतीय भाषा सीखने के लिए भी बहुत आसानी होता है. भारतीय भाषा ही नहीं, विश्व के जो भी भाषा है उसको सीखने में जो संस्कृत भाषा अच्छे तरफ से जानते हैं, उनको दूसरा भाषा वो विश्व के ग्रीक हो सकता है, फ्रेंच हो सकता है, जर्मन हो सकता है. It's much easier for him to learn because of the grammatical architecture, the kind of pronunciation, the kind of role of the tongue that Sanskrit induces in its speaker. मैं आपको एक उदाहरण देता हूँ. कल मुझे अपने पिताजी ने बता रहा था, आपका रुद्र चमकम के अंत में एक वाक्य आता है, वाजश्च प्रसवश्चापिजश्च क्रतुश्च सुवश्च मूर्धा च विष्णीयश्चान्त्यायनश्चान्त्यश्च भुवनश्च भुवनश्चाधिपतिश्च. If you can tell this sentence in the accurate form, there is no sentence, no pronunciation in the world that is going to be difficult for you. Sanskrit tests our brain. It tests the coordination between the tongue and the brain. It tests the neural ability of the mind each time a person is speaking. Which is why, if you observe the parampara of this nation, the reason why the greatest of knowledge could be transmitted in the Shruti Madhyama, in the oral tradition, is because the neuro-linguistic apparatus of the people who learned this language and lived this lifestyle was so efficient. This was the scientific reason behind it. Unfortunately, because of colonization, the colonizers, in both the waves of colonization, attacked this very legacy of Sanskrit. मैं आपसे एक ही निवेदन करना चाहता हूं. आप भारत के कॉलोनाइजर्स के अप्रोच आप देखिए संस्कृत के प्रति, आपको पता चलेगा कि उनका रियल एजेंडा क्या था. Whether it was Max Muller in the beginning or whether it was Robert Caldwell at the end, both the romanticization of Sanskrit as well as the demonization of Sanskrit, both had only one agenda. When they romanticized Sanskrit, it was because they wanted to use Sanskrit to induce conversions of the natives. When they demonized Sanskrit, again it was the same agenda of converting the natives. It was never about Sanskrit itself. And one of the greatest tools of the colonizer was to ensure that the Indian masses, the Indian population, the Bharatiya population, gets detached from its great source of inspiration of its heritage, that is the Sanskrit language. And they did it very effectively. I want to give you one quote from Ananda Kumaraswamy on how the English education deracinated and uprooted the Indian masses, not only from our own language, but also, most importantly, from our culture. Ananda Kumaraswamy says this: the most crushing indictment of the English education system is that it destroys all capacity for the appreciation of Indian culture. Speak to the ordinary English graduate on the ideals of the Mahabharata. He will hasten to display his knowledge of Shakespeare. Talk to him of religious philosophy, you will find that he is an atheist of the crude type, common in Europe a generation ago. Not only has he no religion, but he is as lacking in philosophy as the average Englishman. Talk to him of Indian art. It is news to him that such a thing exists. Ask him to translate a letter written in his own mother tongue. He does not know it. He is indeed a stranger in his own land. This is what Ananda Kumaraswamy wrote. This was what the British education did, the colonizer education did for a very long time in this country. If I have to come and tell you that the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, which you consider holy, which you consider as principles to guide your life, is not right, And if that Ramayana and Mahabharata is written in the language which you do not understand, then it is so much easier for me to convince you about the ills of your holy books. This was why the colonizer repeatedly attacked the Sanskrit language. Unfortunately, आजाद होने के बाद भी यही प्रकार के जो एटीट्यूड थे संस्कृत के प्रति वो लगातार कंटिन्यू हो गया और सेक्युलरिज्म के चलते चलते रास्ते पे देव भाषा का बहुत बड़ा अन्याय हो गया. Those people who practiced a perverted form of secularism did not appreciate the divine and sacred dimension of Sanskrit, which is the Deva Bhasha. And this resulted in Sanskrit being sidelined deliberately. And unfortunately, the most divine language of this nation also became the victim of its short-sighted vested interest politics. Whether it was the race theory, whether it was the language theory, Sanskrit was used as a wedge to divide people, when in reality, Sanskrit is the underlying pinning unity that unites the whole country. That was the most unfortunate part. Friends, things have changed. We have come a very long way. और आज आप सबके आशीर्वाद के कारण 2014 में नरेंद्र मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री बनने के बाद देश में ये जो कॉलोनाइजेशन का जो एक पूरा देश उसी रास्ते पे चल रहा था उसका रिवर्सल आज पूरे देश में प्रारंभ हो चुका है. पूरे देश में आज भारत की संस्कृति का पुनरुत्थान का कार्य शुरू. And we are all a very very lucky generation. मैं आपको आज यही कहने के लिए आया. You and I are a very very lucky generation. क्योंकि हम आज युवा उस जमाने में हम युवा हैं, उस संदर्भ में हम युवा हैं जब पूरे भारत सांस्कृतिक पुनरुत्थान के दिशा में जा रहे हैं. We are so lucky to be young and to be in the working age group, contributing age group at this age. साथियों, अपनी सरकार आने के बाद संस्कृत को पुनरुज्जीवन करने के लिए राष्ट्रीय संस्कृत संस्थान को एक नोडल एजेंसी के नाते शुरू करने का काम हुई है. कई सारे राष्ट्रीय संस्कृत यूनिवर्सिटीज का स्थापना हुई है. नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के अंतर्गत मेन स्ट्रीमिंग ऑफ संस्कृत लैंग्वेज का एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है और ऑप्शनल 3 लैंग्वेज पॉलिसी में प्राइमरी हो, हायर एजुकेशन हो या टेक्निकल एजुकेशन हो. आज मुझे जानकर बहुत अच्छा लगा VNIT में ऑलरेडी इंजीनियरिंग कोर्स संस्कृत में ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल है. तो NEP आने के बाद आप देखते रहे 5 साल 10 साल के अंदर this mainstreaming of education, mainstream of Sanskrit in our schools, in our primary colleges, in our higher education colleges. This will happen thanks to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of the new education policy. साथ ही साथ संस्कृत यूनिवर्सिटीज को मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी इंस्टीट्यूट्स ऑफ हायर लर्निंग बनाने के लिए भी काम चल रहा है. And that is going to offer tremendous opportunities for all of you sitting here. If you know Sanskrit today, you will be a very needed, valuable asset in tomorrow's India. And that is the kind of ecosystem that the Narendra Modi government is building. This is something that the country has done. This is something that the government is keen for. संस्कृत को पुनरुज्जीवन करना.